Welcome to the Outlaws podcast. This is the Week 9 Power Rankings. Joining me today on the show is Ben, Drew, and Jordan. How are you today, Jordan?
Doing good, Ryan. I'm sipping this coffee and just enjoying my Sunday of fantasy baseball. How are you?
I'm doing pretty well. I feel a little awkward right now. Let's just go ahead and jump right into it. That one was for you, Brandon. So, a lot to get to this week. We have 5 trades that we need to go over, and then we'll jump into the power rankings unless you guys have anything else. So let's just go ahead and start off with the trades.
I'm surprised we're not starting over, but go ahead. Hey, I did want to say, though, for the record, I'm going to be in and out of here. I'm watching as we do this podcast, I've got a couple categories on the line, so I'm watching Pujols and David Price and my team captain, Jose Iglesias, as we're doing this. So, if I freak out in the middle of it, you've all been forewarned.
All right, yeah, we're going to have some questions about Jose Iglesias and your team later on in the show. All right, so for the trades this week, first one that I wanted to go over was a trade between Nick and, I guess, Ben. Ben, you traded away David Price, Gregory Polanco, Anthony Desclafani, and you got Ryan Braun, Nathan Carnes, and James Paxton. What were you trying to get accomplished there?
I think that was last week, wasn't it, with Jordan? Yeah, that doesn't sound right.
Oh, I'm sorry. I guess they probably went over that one last week, so let's jump to the next trade. Okay, so Julio Teheran and Greg Holland. This is a deal between... I guess it was between Brandon and Jordan. So Jordan got Holland, gave up Teheran. Drew, which side did you like for this trade?
I like the Holland side.
So I know that you were having, you're part of the crowd that had the big fuss over the Teheran deal. I understand that was pretty much everybody in the league, but it sounds like you really don't even like Teheran. So what's such the uproar?
I guess I'm just more mad about what you turned him into. I mean, I actually thought he was better than this when the first trade went down with you and Seth, but I'm starting to see that this guy's not very good. Now, he pitched okay today against the Giants, but my lack of respect for him and the amount that I am mad about that Seth trade has gone down as I've seen him continue to really struggle the last few weeks.
Now, Jordan, are you there? Are you paying attention?
I'm here.
So, how excited are you that you got this deal done? Were you? I know you mentioned on a podcast a few weeks ago that you were one of those people that would have traded for Teheran when I got him from Seth. You gave up on him pretty soon there. Why did you do that?
Well, there's a story behind this, I guess. I knew what I traded for him for, and I thought that it was an upgrade. If you just look at, me having, who was the closer that I gave you?
Kenley Jansen.
Yeah, so I felt like this was an upgrade if you look at both of those deals combined, right? And I wasn't sure at the time Clifford the Big Red Dog was not going to be the closer, so I needed another closer. And so I felt like between those two trades, I was going to get the better deal. But to be honest with you, starting pitching is such a commodity. I didn't really want to do it, but I texted Brandon and I told him that I would do the trade if he could tell me where Dr. Richard Kimball came from, because he had Craig Kimbrell, and with an inordinate speed, he knew exactly that it was from The Fugitive. It was the main character in The Fugitive, and so I had to do the trade at that point because I promised him, and he has sworn to me several times that he did not Google it.
All right, I'm very confused by what you're talking about right now. So obviously I know who the character is from The Fugitive, but I don't understand how that has anything to do with your trade.
Well, he asked me for the trade, and I said I would do it if he could tell me who Dr. Richard Kimball is.
Oh, okay.
Because he ain't Craig Kimbrell. So initially the offer was for Kimbrell. He said I could take my choice between Kimbrell and Hall. Isn't it actually Richard Kimball?
I think it is.
Kimball. Kimble. Oh, okay. I thought you were saying Kimbrell. I just want to say that when Jordan started his answer 7 minutes ago, he said that basically that he thought Holland, switching Jansen to Holland was an upgrade, and I'm wondering if y'all agree with that. Who would you rather have for the rest of the year?
I mean, I think it's pretty even. I like both of them, quite a bit. My only concern is that I think he's obviously got Wade Davis behind him, who if Holland screws up a few times, then they might look to him. But I'm not really that concerned about it. I think it's pretty close.
Okay.
All right, let's move on to the next trade. This is a blockbuster. It was just a 1-for-1 deal, but it was very interesting. I don't think we ever would have seen a trade like this in the 10-team league. It was Andrew McCutchen for Madison Bumgarner. Jordan, you really went all out this week trying to get extra starts against Drew. We're going to see if that'll pay off or not later tonight if Price can get a couple more strikeouts. How much of this trade had to do with just getting that start this week, and how much of it was that you actually like this player better in the long run?
Oh, it was definitely, like, if I was to put a percentage on it, I would give a solid 5% swing. Just to get this start against Drew.
You only exist out here because of me.
What in the world?
What was that?
Hiya, pal.
All right.
I'm away. Who's doing this? Has this been anything? It's been at 5 minutes in. It's already bored.
So.
Classic.
So obviously that Bumgarner start could help you win a category this week.
There's a lot of things going to change out here. If you want to be there with me, you're going to have to go my fucking way.
What is going on? This is definitely bad, and there's no doubt about it.
Yeah.
No other person in this group would be doing this except a little bit. This just kind of reminded me of that Unfriended trailer I kept seeing online. I don't know what's... Okay.
All right, trying to stay on topic here. Jordan, you've really kind of ditched a lot of your big names on offense for pitchers, so just explain why you decided to do that.
Are we just going to be, like, thwarted by this background noise the whole time? Or... What was the question?
All right. Acting like nothing had happened.
Oh, shit. Okay. All right. Are we going to have to, like, drop to the jabroni or what? What's going on?
Ben?
Yeah.
What are you doing?
Okay, let's pick this back up.
Okay. Jordan, why did you decide to take on so many pitchers and give away all your hitting?
A big, 5% of it had to do with playing Drew. I got David Price for 2 starts this week. Second one is happening right now. Need 3 more strikeouts to get those strikeouts. I got wins this week. The other half of it is just that I feel like I can get hitters off the waiver wire, and I don't feel like I can get any pitchers off the waiver wire. So there's a couple I have my eye on. I'm probably going to make 2 or 3 pickups right at the beginning of next week. Just getting some new bats in the lineup, some people who are hot right now. And you can't really do that in pitching. It seems like if there's a hot pitcher, it can go cold overnight with anybody. So, consistency in pitching is nice, especially if you've had as many pickups as I have. So I really don't need to be streaming anymore. So I've got, just a supreme amount of depth, and I'm hoping that I can find hitting and on the waiver.
All right, let's move on to the next trade. We've got 2 more pending trades right now, one between me and John. I'm trading away Colin McHugh and Sean Tollison, getting back Hunter Pence.
Next trade.
Why?
I don't know.
No thoughts?
Not really.
Okay. And the next trade, another one between me and Big Ben, went down in person last night with Drew sitting idly by. Drew was kind of squirming over there. Could tell he wasn't real comfortable with the trade that was going on. I'm giving up Carrasco, Shields, and Alex Guerrero, getting back J.D. Martinez, Johnny Cueto, and Charlton Heston.
Okay, hold on a second. First of all, I don't understand why Drew just vetoed the examination of the last trade. So, where did that come from?
All right, we'll go.
Oh, I just said I didn't have anything to say. You could have checked in at any time. Well, I could have, except for the fact that you said next trade.
Yeah, you didn't say no comment. You said next trade.
Oh, okay, my bad. Well, I'm not the host. I'm sorry. What, Jordan? analysis on that. Okay, this is between Ryan and who?
John.
Hold on a second. I'm going to have to pull a Michael and take my time here. I just want to say that my prediction about an hour ago about us doing this podcast under an hour, it's completely shot. Yeah, I don't know why you would have predicted that. That was the easiest over-runner ever. I didn't realize that we were going to have 4 people. I didn't realize that we are going to have some clown playing voiceovers in the background. Nice to meet you. Well, it was. It's showtime. I mean, I guess the question is what do I think about Colin McHugh? I think I'm going to go for let's see, I would prefer Hunter Pence over Colin McHugh and Tollefson. Now that's without me looking into the rosters and seeing. I know you had some relief pitcher issues earlier, Ryan, and I don't know how many relief pitchers John has and what his situation is there, but. Just when I look at the surface of this, I would prefer the Hunter Pence side.
Hunter Pence is one of those guys that he always ends up the year a lot better than you think he would. I was looking at it. I told this to Ben and Drew yesterday, but he finished the season last year ranked 29th. The year before he finished the season ranked 9th. So I'm not hoping that he's that good, but if he could be a top 70 player or something like that, I'd be pretty happy.
I remember that. Yeah, Ben was so close to cutting him so many times.
All right, next trade, the one that blockbuster I was going over, the Johnny Cueto, J.D. Martinez, Charlton Heston for Shields, Carrasco, and Guerrero. Drew, you were there when we were discussing this trade last night, so why don't you go ahead and just tell me what you were thinking.
Could I speak to the drug dealer of the house, please? Well, it's not anything for me to veto or have a hissy fit about. I just get scared when those big names are in there, so I was nervous about what was happening and the fact that it's going to affect my matchup next week because I'm playing Ben. But I did hit the accept button on it, so that's right. Drew's actually the one that accepted the trade, so it was on his hands. And I was also involved in a couple coin flips that I'm not sure if they mattered or not as far as what pieces to add to the trade, but it's definitely interesting to witness. You could probably tell the story better than me.
Yeah, I mean, it was nothing really that interesting. We were basically just giving Ben his pick over Shields and Garrett Richards. We both couldn't figure out who we liked better, so we just left it to a coin flip. So Shields it was. All right, not a lot of thought on these trades, I'll be honest. I thought we might have a little bit more insight. But anyway, let's go ahead and just jump into the power rankings. Or before we do that, I guess we should go over your well, never mind. I was going to say let's go over your matchup, but I guess we've already talked about it and heard enough about it all week. Maybe we'll get an update later on as we're doing the podcast as to anything that might have happened. All right, so at number 12, no change from last week. Uncle E sits at number 12.
Yep, got to be there. Not even a question.
Now,
I did see that. I will say he did bench one of his pitchers to assure that he had a category today. I like seeing that from someone that's all the way down in 12th, see that he's not pulling the boot and just completely giving up.
Well, that's true. And if I was pulling a Drew, which I guess I'm doing that right now, you could point out that he has Adam Lind and Gerardo Parra on his team, but obviously both on Milwaukee, and Adam Lind did not start, Parra did, and it didn't really affect his matchup at all, but he left Adam Lind in the lineup. One thing about Uncle E's teams, it's probably going to be a little bit better in about a month or so. He's got Ellsbury and Puig both on the DL, so that's kind of tough to deal with right now. So I don't know if that Phelps thing was intentional, or maybe that benching that you're talking about was from another day this week. But main thing I'm worried about with this team, I guess, is all around I've got a lot of concerns actually, but outside of Harvey and Shelby Miller, I just don't really care for his staff now that he's lost Corey Kluber. Although you could make a case, Edison Volquez has been sneaky good this year.
Good.
2.95 ERA, 1.08 WHIP.
Yeah, I don't think that'll last. Did he he have a good year last year? I didn't pay attention to him last year.
It was kind of average. I mean, it wasn't great.
He's been, like, in real life, he's a slightly above average pitcher, and so he comes in and out of fantasy relevance. Slightly above average pitcher is more valuable this year than it was last year, that's for sure.
Now, if the thing, as we move on to number 11 in the power rankings, if all of the standings hold up as to what they are right now, it's about 838 Central. This team is actually going to be last in the standings. Gardenhoser down to number 12 in the actual standings. I got him 11th in the power rankings. He's losing 8-2 to Michael's team this week, which is, a tough team to go against.
That's interesting. I think that means old Seth Meadows is going to be the highest he's ever been in the rankings. Forgive me, I've got some computer.
The preseason power rankings, I think I had Seth like 4th or 5th.
Oh, yeah, I forgot about those. Those are the ones that you had yourself number 1, so I just kind of ignored those. I can't even hear what those things are saying.
Yeah, I can't understand most of them.
Yeah, it'd be really nice if that was the last one.
I got laid 23 times this year, and I'm not counting the summer I got in the library stack, baby. So, number 12, Uncle 8.
Number 11, I've got Derek's team at number 11. So, any thoughts? I'll say that I do like his trade that he made with to get McCutchen. I feel like his offense needed a boost, and he had the best ERA in the league. So I think, considering where he was in the standings, he needed to shake something up. Obviously, he's got Rendon and Dickerson both on the DL, so but definitely plays into these teams being last in my power rankings. They've got 2 really good hitters each, both on the DL, so things will probably be looking better for them in a few weeks.
Yeah, you look at his stats this week. This week was just really bad. So, hopefully that's not and he would have lost 8-2 to anybody, I guess, this week. It's not like one of those Drew Weddle moments where, he would have beat half the league if he just died. So, he didn't have any good runs, not a whole lot of home runs, not a whole lot of RBI, 1 stolen base, not a bad average, bad ERA, bad whip. So, I don't much to be impressed about this week, but he certainly has, decent players in my opinion, so I think he's got room to move up.
It's weird to me that Derek even owns Chris Carter. This guy's just the antithesis of a Derek player. It seems like, I don't know, a 188 average. I feel like Derek just tries to strafe and stuff like that. This guy's a one-trick pony. I'm just shocked he's still on Derek's team at this point in the season. I guess he's...
Ironically, Chris Carter was the best player of his team this week. With 7 RBI, home run, and a 333 average.
I just don't know. I don't know if this guy's going to be able to stay above the Mendoza line, honestly. It's like he's ever been known as a good, average guy, and I'm trying to look at his career batting average.
I think there's probably a pride thing and also a factor of he likes who he likes. Because remember, he dropped $30 or something for him.
He's a 220 average hitter.
When Harry Doyle dropped him. Yeah, it's not good, no doubt. But when Harry Doyle dropped him, he held on to him. And I'll be honest, if Weaver was struggling right now, I'd probably hold on to him too because of all the money I spent on him. I think Derek's probably got a similar situation going on with that right now.
All I know is the last thing I'll say about Derek's team is I would have cut. It looks like his game looks like he's been playing a little bit better, I guess. But I would have cut Christian Yelich a long time ago.
Let's go ahead and move on to number 10. Number 10, highest place I've had him since the start of the season, Seth Weddle. So Seth, I'm up 6-4 on him right now. He actually had a pretty strong week for his standards. 12 home runs, 6 of those coming from Josh Donaldson. His pitching really blew up late in the week, but otherwise, a solid week for Seth. Eight saves with 3 closers.
That's really impressive. I think we've all, or at least it seems like the popular opinion is we all believe in his offense. It's just the pitching staff that people don't care for, and that mostly held true this week, with the exception of he finally won saves, and we all know if there's one pitching category Seth wants to win, it's got to be saves. Congratulations, Seth. 3 claps.
One of the things I'm worried about with Seth's teams is his pitching with the strikeouts. He had 5 2-star pitchers this week. I guess he cut J.A. Happ, so that erased one of them. and then he streamed 2 guys, and he's still sitting at just 70 strikeouts for the week. So I don't think you can expect him to win strikeouts very often, even with Salazar and Arrieta. He didn't have a lot of strikeout guys other than those 2 guys. What do you guys think about Matt Kemp and Cano combined? Cano hit a home run yesterday. Combined between the 2 of them, just 3 home runs on the season. I have to be honest. If Matt Kemp was cut, I don't know that I'd put a bid on him.
I think the Robinson Cano situation is more important and needs to be addressed. The Mariners have gotten pretty much nothing than what they paid for him. I mean, I know last year it wasn't like he was terrible, but just looking at his numbers last year, he had just a mediocre year, and this year it's even worse. So I really don't know what to make of him. I mean, I don't want to just be like, oh, well, he's in Safeco now, so that's why, because I feel like that's just a cop-out at this point. I mean, he should have better numbers than he has, even playing half the games up in Seattle, I think.
How many home runs did he hit last year? Does anybody remember? Did he hit like...
I think it was like 17 or something around there.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
It maybe was a little more, I don't remember.
He had 14 home runs and 10 stolen bases with a 3.14 average last year.
And 14 home runs.
Wow.
Not that he was ever like a big power guy, but he usually hit about, 25, 28?
Yeah, somewhere around there. He may have had a 30 home run season here or there. I can't remember. What about Matt Kemp? Would you guys be willing to try to trade for Matt Kemp if he was going to give him away for pretty much nothing?
Yeah, I'd definitely pick him up if he was on the waiver wire. That's a great idea.
I agree with that. Definitely.
Well, I know that Drew would, and I know that you're a big Kemp fan, so I feel like you guys in particular are probably the 3 that are on the phone are probably the 3 highest people on Kemp in the league. So I'm wondering what anybody else will think. So I know all of you have had your history with Kemp, although Jordan did cut him, give him the axe a few years ago.
That's right. Josh Donaldson is the number 4 player on the season, by the way.
Hit another home run today, so he might be moving on up.
What a beast.
All right, let's move it on to number 9. Number 9, and I got to be honest.
I just want to let you know, I got to check out for a little bit. I'm going to mix on. I got to watch this game. I'm stressed out. I'm 2 pitches down, 2 strikeouts, 2 ulcers up the bat. Price is pitching. Oh, my God. It's terrible. So I'll be back after I catch up on strikeouts. Jordan has apparently never heard of the invention of DVR, but go ahead.
All right. See you, Jordan. Moving on to number 9, and I have to be honest, I'm starting to feel like I'm putting this guy too high. I just couldn't figure out where to go. I thought about toying with him down all the way to 11. I've got Brad at number 9. He's really in a slide since that hot start to the season. He really had a horrible week last week and still only managed to lose 5-4 to Drew's team. This week he's down 7-1 to Brandon. Brad's team is struggling. And I think that Adrian Beltre left today's game. He could be out hitting the DL for a couple weeks.
I guess the real question is, when is Brad going to find it in his heart to put Gene Segura back in his lineup?
You gotta wonder why he likes Hechavarria so much, especially when he didn't start today. I mean, I know that Ben was really high on him about 3 weeks ago, but still.
Yeah, Brad's in trouble, and not to mention, I guess, did you mention Beltre is going to be out for a little while now, too?
Right. I will say that this is the best pitching staff that Brad's had in a long time, despite, it wasn't great this week, but I think it's pretty good all in all. He's got Lester DeGrom and Sonny Gray and Luriana, so he's got a pretty good staff. There's a couple guys I don't care for, but the hitting.
Was his matchup close? Because he's got Joe Kelly on the bench, who had a pretty solid game.
No,
that's the problem. He finished tied in wins. So there really was no reason not to start him. Now, Joe Kelly didn't get the win because that lead was blown in the 9th inning when Hamilton hit that 2 RBI double. But no reason not to start Joe Kelly today. It's just classic Brad.
Yeah, Brad's letting us down.
Brad's doing this just to mess with us on purpose?
I don't know.
I don't think Brad puts that much thought into anything.
Yeah, Brad, step up your game. Anyway.
I'll also say he's tied in runs, so he lost the category there by not starting Segura. So that's at least one category that just because of the simple everyday task of not setting your lineup. Ridiculous. Big Ben would be proud.
All right.
Big Ben move.
So do you think I had Brad too high at number 9?
I'd probably put Seth and Derek ahead of him.
Yeah.
I think Brad's 11.
I think I may have made a mistake there until Brad at least shows us that he's going to at least take the time to set his lineup and scour the waiver wire every once in a while. I probably put him a little too high right there.
Like, what are the chances that Adrian Beltre is still in his lineup for the next 2 weeks?
I don't think he'll be in there that long, but yeah, definitely I could see him being in there for the next 3 or 4 days until Brad finds out that, oh, he's hurt. So we'll see.
Real quick, I just want to ask, why are there two night games tonight?
I don't know.
There's one a makeup game or something? Let's see.
Yeah, I'm not sure on that.
I guess makeup game could have been during the day. I don't know. That's weird.
Number 8 on the power rankings. This is a pretty significant slide for this team.
I know who it is. It's about damn time.
Nick S. down to number 8. I don't know that I've ever had Nick this low in the power rankings, or at least not, a very small percentage of the time. Nick is a highly respected team most of the time, but he's really been struggling lately. He's down 9-1 to Ben this week.
Man, that's pretty tough.
So Ben, you were talking a lot of trash to Nick, and I mean, you definitely backed it up.
Yeah, my guys. Well, we're talking about Nick's team, but since I'm playing him, I don't want to say Nick got unlucky, but I mean, he was beating me most of the week. My guys just had a huge weekend, so that's kind of what propelled me and what helped, kind of what went against Nick and how he ended up 9-1. But I mean, I'm just looking at his stats. It's not like he's really put up anything too terrible. Like he should have definitely won more categories.
Yeah, looking at his stats, it's neither horrible nor great. It's probably just a little slightly below average, which is kind of where I have him in the power rankings right now. So I don't know. I mean,
I still really like Nick's team. I think it's one of the better teams in the league. I personally put him definitely above 8, but I can understand after losing 9-1 how he would slide a little bit.
I mean, it's not just the 9-1. This was 2 weeks. The offense has really struggled. I mean, the last 2 weeks, 19 runs, 21 runs, 3 homers, 7 homers, 23 RBIs, 26 RBIs. I mean, not getting the counting stats there at all. So
Anthony Rizzo, had no counting stats this week. Eric Hosmer is really cooled down this week. A lot of his guys that have been performing just had an off week, so maybe it's kind of an aberration. Or maybe it's a sign of things to come. I know that I'd be willing to send an offer for Rizzo.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I look at his, but I mean, you guys say that. I mean, I'm not like a huge proponent of it. I don't think he has a juggernaut offense, but I mean, most of it, you look at his players, he doesn't really have a weak spot at any position on hitting wise. I don't think other than catcher, but he's getting LaCroix back. So
Ben, you probably know better than both of us. How many RBI did Pedroia have when he had that 2 home run game? Did that cost him RBI? He's got.
I don't know. I'm not sure. It may have. I don't know.
Yeah, so
let's see. I'm down. He's lost. Well, I guess the games are still going, but right now he's down by 3. So yeah, he probably definitely tied at least, if not be winning right now. I'm not sure.
What do you think about him rolling with it? Would you still have Addison Russell on your team? Do you think he's worth it? Do you think there's better options on the waiver wire, or do you like him?
Let me pull up the stats. I have no idea how he's playing.
Not to toot my own horn, but if I was Nick F, I would have been upgrading to Tyler Clippard there, and as soon as he became available.
Well, that's the only shortstop he has.
Addison Russell is. I mean, it's not like there's anything better on the waiver wire. Shortstop's such a crappy position, so yeah. I mean, it looks like he's got decent numbers for the position.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Actually, he's got pretty good numbers. His average is low, but looking at his numbers, he's actually got pretty nice numbers considering that he plays shortstop. I mean, if it's like an outfield or somebody, you'd be disappointed, but shortstop, I'm looking at right now, it's pretty solid.
Generally speaking, I feel kind of like Ben does. I feel like I do like this team, but I can't ignore the numbers that he's put up the last couple of weeks. But all in all, I wouldn't hit the panic button just yet. But we know that Nick is definitely willing to hit that panic button sometimes and make some major trades. So we'll see what happens the next couple of days.
Have we addressed his Addison Russell Chris Bryant prediction lately?
I feel like Nick said that he didn't even mean it. He was just trying to. I don't know. I feel like there's no way he meant that when he said that. I mean, not that I don't say he didn't mean it, but I feel like he didn't believe that deep down.
Yeah, he is kind of a troll sometimes. We said that the other day, so maybe that's all that was. Just trying to get some attention.
No man was just trying to. One of those things where you say it enough, maybe it'll come true. So I don't know where he's going with that.
All right, moving on to the number 7 team in the power rankings. He's got a new team name, Vader, also known as John B. So John, all the way up to 7, he had a 13 home run week, a pretty solid ERA and WHIP, nothing special but pretty solid. And he lost Strasburg this week. Didn't really seem to matter. He has a pretty solid offense. He did just trade away Pence, getting McHugh, so he's changing things up a little bit. The two guys that I'm wondering about on this team, Jason Hayward and Carlos Gonzalez. What do you do with those two guys?
Well, I would throw Strasburg in there too, and with that group.
You're that worried about him when he comes back?
I mean, how do you know a 15-day stint on the deal is going to fix his problem?
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like you have to, I don't know about the other two, but I feel like you at least have to hold on to Strasburg. There's no way you can trade him right now. I mean, but maybe that just means maybe I should try to send him an offer if he's willing to deal him, but I feel like his value will absolutely never be lower than it is right now.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's like that's one of those things where I'm sure everyone's kind of like, well, I could probably buy low on Strasburg, but I don't think you're going to be able to get him. You're still going to have to give up something of somewhat value to get him, I would imagine. I don't think John's going to. I don't think he's selling him for anything low.
Value can definitely go lower. I think this is the perfect time when, especially if premium is pitching is in our league. He could sell him for maybe not somebody great, but somebody pretty good, somebody that's rosterable. And we have no idea if Strasburg's going to come back at all. I mean, that's what
I'm saying. Like, who would like? Somebody give me an example of what you'd be willing to offer for Strasburg, because I wouldn't be willing to give anything of much value for him.
I don't know that I would do this, but what would you say about me offering like Jesse Chavez for him?
Yeah, I wouldn't do that if I was John.
Yeah, Chavez actually had 2 starts this week, both scoreless outings. Anyway.
You don't sell me on Chavez. I had him his first start season. He pitched pretty well.
That's right. So Lucas Duda, the end of a lot of jokes this week. Not this week, rather, a few weeks ago. But this week he had 8 runs, 4 homers, 6 RBIs. I think he's hitting right around 300 still. I probably should have picked him up. And what do you think about that? I mean, I feel that gives him a little flexibility to make some other deals that he found such a good bat off the waiver wire.
I don't really have an opinion on Lucas Duda one way or the other, so.
Still not a big fan?
And if nobody wants to say anything about Duda, I think we should real fast go back to that, what you're talking about between Carlos Gonzalez and Strasburg and Hayward. But,
right.
Oh, well, Hayward just, this guy, he always underachieves, so I just think go with Hayward. But between Carlos Gonzalez and Strasburg, which do you guys feel is more likely to bounce back if either of them?
I'd much rather have Carlos Gonzalez between the two of them. But I don't really like either of them. That being said, Cargo hit 500 this week and didn't have a single counting stat. That's crazy. And even though he hit 500 this week, he's hitting 219 on the year.
Is it possible he's hiding an injury? No, he's such a baby. If he had any injury, he'd be out. I think that back.
Yeah, I don't know. It's one of those things where I kind of want to try to get Cargo for nothing, but at the same time, I know he'll probably end up getting hurt anyway, so it'll probably be a waste of time. So, I don't know. Drew, you've had Cargo before. What are your thoughts on him?
He was good when he was healthy. That's what's so weird about this year. That he's healthy and he's bad. So the injury comes every year. So, like you said, I think we're all expecting him to go down with an ingrown toenail or something soon. So, but I still, I don't know what to make of Strasburg. My inclination would be if I had to choose one, if they were both on the waiver wire and I could only pick up one, I'd pick up Strasburg. But I don't know if that really answers the question or not.
All right, well, let's go ahead and move on to the number 6 team in the power rankings. At number 6, I've got myself, Slenderman, down from 7 last week up to number 6.
The Slenderman. Ryan never wants to talk about it. You always start the conversation about every other team, never want to talk about yours. Y'all really duked it out in stolen bases, but actually, besides that, it was a really solid week across the board. Maybe the runs and RBIs weren't high, but there wasn't really any area where you struggled. And I mean, when you look at a team like Seth and you get a 6-4, is that a disappointment? Like when we play Uncle Lee, Flash, Steph, don't we usually go into that matchup going, okay, 7-3 at worst?
Yeah, I'd say it was a mild disappointment. I was, that 7-3, you gain 4 games, compared to where I'm just getting 2 games right here over 500. So I was definitely hoping for a 7-3 going into it, but by the end of the week, I was happy to get a 6-4 because it could have ended up worse.
Yeah, it's really good pitching, and normally 6 saves will get the job done for you.
We were actually tied in average going into today, and somehow won by like 36 points.
Wow. How do you feel about your pitching staff? Like, do you think that you're set now? I mean, if you look at this week, you had a great ERA, great whip, good amount of Ks, good amount of saves, good amount of wins. Is this where you want to be?
Well, let me address that. I loved my pitching staff, but I traded a lot of it away in these 2 deals. So I'm giving away Carrasco, Shields, McHugh, and one of my closers. Getting back Cueto, Charlton Heston, and that's pretty much it in the pitching side. So I kind of decided that I wanted to go more hitting heavy, kind of go the opposite of what most of the league's doing. I went back. I think Ben sent a text out a couple weeks ago, saying that, hey, me and Mike were in first place. We're the only 2 teams that are doing the no-save strategy. So I kind of went back and looked to see, what categories they were winning, and I found out that they were both at the time 11 and 16 in the pitching categories each. So they both had a losing record, and they were really just flat out dominating offensively. So with getting Hunter Pence and JD Martinez, I'm hoping to strengthen the weak spots in my lineup, which was kind of my third outfielder in those utility spots. So definitely taking a risk there by hurting my pitching staff. So we'll see what happens.
Sometimes you got to zig when the rest of the league zags. That's just what separates you.
Yeah, we'll see if it works.
I got to zig more than the rest of the league zigs.
Yeah. All right.
I think I like it. I mean, the league is really flipped. I mean, you remember our second year, it was just pitching was garbage, especially with Ben. I think Ben was like, I could care less about my pitchers. And
yeah. I've always managed to find pretty good pitchers on the waiver wire, though. I remember I had Bumgarner his first year. I had Gio his first year when they both broke out. So you can always find a. Yeah, I'm starting to sidetrack, but yeah, I agree with you. It definitely started to be it's definitely become more pitching focused for sure.
All right, moving on. Number 5 in the power rankings. Jordan Haas, down from number 3 last week. Still some things to be decided, of course. What do you think about that? You think that's fair?
I mean, talking to me?
Yeah, Jordan. Is 5.
I think about listening to the Penguin.
You're down 7
I don't know
to.
if I've lost yet. I think I've got to wait for this game to get over.
It's 7-2. 7-2 looks pretty close to me.
7-2 with tough categories being decided by mere 1 strikeout, for example.
Let me cut you off because
base, for example. Give me a break, guys.
We talked about Nick just kind of over-exaggerating as Russell. You're the ultimate over-exaggerator when it comes to Jose Iglesias. Now, how much longer are you going to let your pride get in the way of a player that needs to be not owned?
Look, all I'm saying is the average is there. They've got him for some reason. They won't move him up to bottom of the order. And, who was it that I had a bet with? Was it John? Who's going to owe me?
I believe so, yes.
Almost for sure he's going to owe me a 6-pack of beer.
What was the bet exactly? Batting average, what was it?
North of 300 this year, and he's still at.
I don't know. There's still a lot of season left.
Well, there is, but he just took an intentional walk earlier tonight. I mean, the teams respect him in real life.
Let me ask you this: so that's all you want from your shortstop is just average? That's all you're looking for, I guess. Obviously, with Jose,
I get steals from him. If he ever got moved up into that lineup, he'd be dominant. So
you're waiting for the manager to be a game breaker and move him up to leadoff.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Now, Jordan,
do you see that happening this year?
I'm betting on it.
All right. Well, guess we'll just have to wait and see.
So Jordan, you've got, I'm sure you and Drew might argue about this. Between the two of you, the best staff in the league, I think. It's debatable. I think I probably like Jordan slightly better. But
especially with the Bumgarner edition now.
Yeah. And I just kind of like a few of your guys after the big names a little bit more than Drew's, after the big names. So, but he's also got Tanaka and Jose Fernandez up his sleeve, so we'll see. Anyway, back to the topic. You've got, at the expense of what it took to get those pitchers, you've got Yadier Molina at catcher, Iglesias at short, an empty roster spot at your third outfielder, and Billy Butler at utility. So basically 4 non-producers right now. What do you do?
Just wait till next week. I've got it all sorted out now. Billy Butler is a team catcher. He has been for my whole fantasy life. I can't ever seem to drop him. I probably won't drop him. But you don't have to be the smartest man in the world to see that there's a pretty decent catcher out there on the waiver wires right now. And he's also a really decent outfielder on the waiver wires right now. So
there's nothing like Monday coming around knowing that all my tickets have reset. I'm free to do whatever I want.
That's right. Amen, brother. Amen, Reverend.
Well,
Night fires.
now, Jordan, one thing that really helped you be able to do this, and the flip side, is the AJ Pollock thing. I mean, what a gift.
That was manna from heaven, guys. He has, all he does is get on base, steal bases, hit home runs, has a great average. I mean, this is a legitimate, 4.5 category stud. I mean, he's a potential top 10 outfielder, and he just got gifted to me. And I think, I think it's crazy that nobody bid over $50 for him besides me.
I saw an article the other day, or somebody basically said he was basically just Jacoby Ellsbury without the price tag, which I actually thought was a pretty good comparison.
Yeah, absolutely.
So
yeah, I'll say you mentioned those 4 duds on Jordan's team earlier. Pollock was probably the one I was most terrified of all weekend because the guy's just on base all the time. Yeah, and look, I can't even talk because I didn't even bid on it. I mean, I wasn't really even paying attention to what he was doing, and I don't even know if I noticed. I don't think I noticed he got catch until.
Well, Drew, don't feel bad because apparently Brandon wasn't paying attention either.
That's the best part. Let me say this for the record. I think that Pollock is probably going to bring an extra strong performance this coming week against the team who drops him, and that's going to hurt extra bad. And I sure hope that he pulls off in a strong way this coming week. Do we want to get into Brandon's excuse that it was an accident?
Yeah, I don't buy that 1 minute. Doesn't it ask you 2 times if you're ready to cut the player or whatever?
Yes. I mean, I'm sorry. Yeah, not buying it.
Yeah, I don't buy it either. Anyway, let's go ahead and move on to the number 4 team. We've already just brought up his name. I've got Brandon up to number 4 now. So Brandon, I started off Brandon pretty low in these power rankings. He's been working his way up there, pretty steadily, and he's had 2 really big wins these last 2 weeks.
Overrated.
Whoa, wow! Why do you say that?
How can you move a guy up to number 4 whose managerial decisions dropped a top 30 player?
I'm just saying he's been putting up some big wins the last 2 or 3 weeks.
Well, he's about to get beat by Kirby's knuckleball, guaranteed.
On the flip side, he lost AJ Pollock, but he did gain Josh Harrison.
Yeah, I'd still rather have Pollock.
Yeah, I would too. Arenado came to life.
Harrison has been playing a lot better though.
What do you guys think about Jimmy Paredes?
He's pretty good.
Sounds like
it'll be interesting to see if he can keep it up all year, but I think he's been pretty good so far. I actually sent Brendan a trade for him last week, I think.
Sounds like Drew's not buying it.
I think we all know that I would never send a trade. Hey, Ryan, I want to know something right now. If I beat him this week, can I get your word that I'll be an automatic number 3 in the rankings at least next week?
That you'll be what?
If I beat Brandon, who is ranked number 3 right now, will I be guaranteed that number 3 spot?
No guarantees.
I think Brandon's hitting is fine. It's just his staff is what's interesting to see whether or not they can all continue, doing it. I don't know what his pitching staff's start this week, but you look at the pitchers and there's really Jordan Zimmerman and nobody else. So it's interesting to see him. I know Rang's had a good season, but
Yeah, he
you
says
kind of wonder with some of these pitchers if they're going to be able to. I think we say this every week about Brennan's staff, but one of these weeks they may just end up all collapsing, or who knows? I mean, maybe everybody will continue playing well, but I want to ask you guys a question about Will Harris. Is he the guy? Is he the guy that got suspended? I think Drew was saying he was.
Yeah,
like a substance on his arm or something.
Yeah, that's right. I mean, actually, I don't know if he's appealing or not, but yeah, he trades away Greg Holland because he doesn't want to deal with the closers, and then he picks up Will Harris. I'm sorry, I got distracted by the name Kendall Graydon, and I guess he's actually a starting pitcher. I'd never heard of him until just now. But should I know that name?
He was a big spring training sleeper. I think Derek drafted him actually.
Yeah, he sucked like his first couple of games, and then they sent him back down. He came back up and he's pitched pretty decent since he's been back.
Yeah, but anyways, that was a strange move. That was definitely of the Seth Maness elk right there.
Brandon does seem to like those middle relievers for some reason. I feel like every year he picks up at least 2 or 3 of them.
Yeah, I don't think Drew can really say anything about that. He's got Betances.
Although, yeah, Drew does have one of his own. Although in Drew's defense, Betances has been sweet.
All right, so it sounds like you guys aren't really buying Brandon at number 4. Safe to say. I mean, do you think, gun to your head, does this team make the playoffs?
I don't know. It's tough to say. I mean, I don't really have a problem with him being number 4. I think his like I said, I think his hitting's probably one of the better. Off the top of my head, probably one of the better hitting units in the league. But it's just really just going to come down to, like I said, if his pitching is able to maintain its pace or not.
Now, Drew,
this is epic because I mean I can't recall I can't imagine there's ever been a time in the past where Brandon Shim is ranked 4 spots ahead of Nick Shim.
I was going to ask, can we go ahead and award him the better Shimmer?
So does this mean Nick is the lesser Shim now?
You've got B Shim at 12, N Shim at 8, and B Shim at 4. So it looks like there's 4 separated in each of the Shims.
Yeah.
That's good math.
That's just crazy.
Yeah, I mean, I think that Nosak, is just having an off year. You still have to give him credit. I mean, he's throwing the Seabiscuit party, right? So, hats off to Nosak. But
let me guys up the ante real fast. If you so. Maybe,
hold on, let me cut you off real quick. I do want to make sure everybody agrees that the least Shim is definitely, I don't even know his first name. He's just the least Shim to me. He is to me, who is that? He is Reek of the league. Reek, there's no doubt about it.
You know what, I normally I might agree with you, but he did vote on the matches today, so I think just since he's not in the group text, it's tough. But I'm not going to say anything since he voted in the matchups, and I appreciate it the most. So,
yeah, he's the best number 12 we've ever had. I guess it's our first.
Well, you guys are so encouraging. Like, what the fuck?
Listen, I'm about to start a little bit of controversy here. Now, if you had to choose between Nick or Brandon to make the playoffs, which team would you choose? You can only pick one.
Yeah, I think we're all choosing Nick. But
you hear that, Big Jim?
Not choosing.
Calling you out. They're calling you out.
I'll choose Brandon.
It's interesting, Jordan, because aren't you playing Brandon this week?
I am.
What's funny?
I would have leaned the other way just to kind of throw
no respect for no side.
Brandon.
No respect.
Brandon gets absolutely no respect for making the finals last year.
Yeah, well,
He knocked you out of the first round, Drew.
Interesting point.
no, look,
How did that feel during the second round to not be in the playoffs?
if I had to bet, I would bet on both of them making the playoffs. But I think Nick would be higher. But here's the thing: is somebody's going to be good and miss the playoffs. Like in the past, if you missed the playoffs, you really did not right. You finished under 500.
Last year, if you made the playoffs, you weren't necessarily a good team.
there was there's a little bit of it's been like to call it some Tebowing, Tebowing your way.
I think I had a losing record and was a 6 seed last year.
And usually the 6 seed does have a losing record. I don't see that happening this year. I think we may have 7, possibly 9, not 8. I think we'll have 17 finish with a winning record. So somebody's going to have a good season and even going to be in the tournament.
Yeah, I feel like the bye is more important than ever this year.
Oh yeah, the bye is huge. The bye is just gigantic. I mean, if you can get it, then more power to you. But I'm going to be honest with you. I'd be surprised if the bye didn't go to Ben and Michael. And that already seems to be the way that the season's panning out to me. But never know.
That sounds like a Simmons reverse jinx.
Reverse jinx. I wish, man. I wish. So, but Ryan's the real jinx. I mean, every time you rank somebody low, they end up climbing. Every time they rank somebody high, they end up going down. So, I'm Ryan.
Yeah, maybe I just don't know what I'm doing.
In all fairness, this has got to be the hardest year that we ever had to rank people because I think
a lot of parity.
Yeah, like going into this week, I've got a serious computer lag here, but yeah, going into this week, 11 and a half games separating first and 12. So
I mean,
go ahead.
No, go ahead, finish what you're saying.
Oh, I was just saying you can go from 12 to 6 in this league. You can go from dead last to being in the playoffs. You can go from third to being out of the playoffs in a single week. So I think that will continue for the most part. I think we've got a clear-cut bottom 3. I think we think Eric, Shem, Derek, and Brad are going to possibly tail off. And then I think we'll have 9 teams competing for a playoff spot with the possibility that Derek gets back into the mix.
Yeah, I'm not ready to write off Derek yet, just because he's got Rendon and Dickerson on the DL. Rendon might be back next week.
And I was looking at Brandon's team. Nolan Arenado had 4 homers this week. What? Is he the number one? Am I not thinking of somebody? Is he the number 1 third baseman that you want to have?
Donaldson.
Third baseman? What the heck, over Donaldson?
I forgot about Donaldson. So he's number 2.
I don't know. Actually, I may just be a homer, but I'd probably rather have Frazier over him.
Frazier's having a good year too. I didn't realize he had 16 homers already. It's crazy.
But no, yeah, Arenado, he's definitely sweet. Definitely, I mean, he's got to be a top 5 third baseman for sure.
Arenado and McCann had 8 of his 11 homers this week.
So I know that Michael was pretty down on D. Gordon. What is he hitting now? Like 370, something like that, with like 20 plus steals. Obviously, we don't think he's going to keep up this pace really, but do you like D. Gordon going forward?
I like him a lot better than Billy Hamilton. Like, if I was going to, because I feel those two are basically pretty comparable, Obviously, one's outfielder and one's second base, but I would much rather have D. Gordon over Billy Hamilton. And I'm not saying that just because Gordon's having a better year. I just don't respect Billy Hamilton. And D. Gordon at least has done it for a year, whereas Billy Hamilton never has. So I think if you're going to try to, do the steals thing, then D. Gordon would be the way I would go over Billy Hamilton.
What do you...
I will say that Billy Hamilton struggled. This week he did bat over 300, 4 runs, 5 homers, 4 steals.
5 homers for Billy Hamilton?
No, I'm sorry. What did I say? 4 runs, no homers, 5 RBIs, and 4 steals with a 300 batting average. Unfortunately, those were the only 4 steals Brad got this week. So, again, my whole thinking process of you got Billy Hamilton, you blocked up a category that's been proved wrong again for another week.
I'm just before we move on, I'm just curious to see if Hamilton keeps this up. I'm curious to see how much his value is going to be next year, if at all. I feel like he could end up being like one of those $5 players next year, if not less, possibly. I don't know. Although he gets hyped every year, so maybe not.
All right, let's move it on. Number 3 in the power rankings, March of the Penguin. Pretty obvious call right there, considering who the top 2 teams are going to be. That's been pretty steady. So Drew got you at number 3. Big week, 7-2 right now as it stands. That could potentially change. A few games still going on right now. Thoughts on the week? Thoughts on your team?
Well, I think Jordan threw everything he had. Threw the kitchen sink at me and didn't work. So it did get him wins, and we'll see if Price can get a couple strikeouts here. But I don't think Jordan can be too satisfied. I will give him credit. I mean, it was a complete mental grind, and I'm really tired, and I'll probably go away from the group text for a little bit, and I think everybody will be better for it. But he did make it fun, but didn't get the job done. Which he has a history of doing in matchups between the two of us. So
I just wanted to ask while I got you on the phone, how offended were you by the slanted penis comment? By the way, we just tied on strikeouts just now, as I said that.
No! Oh, that's half of it. I mean, one more strikeout would be huge. Just slight side note, how many pitches? 82 pitches, not looking good. Probably come back out in 7. Or definitely will. I mean, I wasn't. I just,
You sounded like you kind of were.
Well, it was just a lot. I made one small joke about everybody, and then,
Now, Drew, that's not fair. Now, you say you don't go for outside of the fantasy text, but you're typically the first one to bring it up. And when someone brings something back to you, you tend to get a little upset about it.
Did the buffet really happen? I did want to ask that.
yeah, the buffet happened.
Oh, yeah, for sure. Well, it wasn't very good food, but it happened.
Look, me and Ben have had some rough times, but nothing has kept us from going to the buffet together. I hope you understand. There's two things more important in life than the buffet to me, just if you look at my physique. But I think,
can we get a podcast from the buffet one day?
I don't know. I mean, Ben would be gone for the first 15 minutes of the podcast while he built up his first plate. But
Gonna load that plate up.
I tell you what, it is interesting. I will say to see the difference in style between Ryan and Ben. Ryan goes with a very light load, likes to keep the food.
2 strikes, 1 ball. Sorry, man. Sorry to put that in. I'm nervous, man. I'm freaking out right now. Really could use a strikeout or be a good pick me up.
It wouldn't be a normal hour in the night if we didn't get a pitch.
So now, Drew, I think Ryan's asked this before. So, do you plan on keeping Betances on your team? I know you always say, well, until he gives up a run, but when he gives up a run, you're still obviously going to keep him. Is that correct?
Yeah, gosh. I mean, I think I probably will. I mean, why would I? I guess it depends on.
Keep those 2 strikes.
I don't know. He's not going anywhere. I mean, he's been good to me. He was great for Derek last year. He's not going anywhere.
Now, also, tell us if this still rings true tonight, what you told me and Ryan last night about Drew Hutchinson. Now, you said you can see him being on your team for the remainder of the season. Is that still true as of tonight?
Oh, definitely. I mean, he was pitching okay today. He'd only given up 1 run and then got into some trouble in the 6th inning. And he really reined in the walks, which was really a problem for him early in the season. And he seems to finally grasp the concept of pitching with some contact. So doesn't just waste away pitches like a Tyson Ross on my team. Who, by the way, I'm just begging for somebody to give me a decent offer for him. I'd love to ship off that.
I've never seen anybody as on edge as watching Tyson Ross pitch as Drew was last night. Me and Ryan watched the games with him and with Drew, and we watched Weaver, and Drew had Tyson Ross pulled up on his phone, and every time he threw a ball, it would boom, Drew would slam against the couch or something in anger, disgust.
Yeah, Tyson Ross is Giovanni Gallardo. I mean, that's who I compare him to, and that's the kind of career I think he's going to have based on. He's not fun to watch. He just gives away pitches that no one would ever think about swinging at. So I'm not a Ross fan, but what was the question?
No, that's all I got.
All right, let's move it on to number 2. So at number 2, this has kind of been a tough decision, but both teams, I think this is more of a 1A, 1B situation, but because of, I don't think the number 1 team from last week deserved to be moved down, I'm going to keep Ben at number 2.
Interesting.
Yeah, you can't really, I mean, it's so clear that these are
Ryan, who do you play next week?
I play Derek next week.
I always gotta ask when you make a decision. That's a good point. Yeah, I mean, obviously 9-1 over NoSac. Just another strong week. I'm kind of surprised to see only the 5 wins with these kind of stats, but yeah, I mean, I don't. We talked about the no. I was kind of disappointed because when I saw he was up 9-1, I was like, ooh, how close is he to the sweep? And then I realized he didn't have any closers. But that strategy is working out well for him. But I kind of would have liked to see a 10-0 this week.
Now, Ben, just kind of philosophically, what has prompted you to be so free to trade when you're having such success?
Well, I pretty much contend every year. I made the playoffs every year, and I've always been a big trader, so it really has nothing to do with success. I always see, heck, there's always room for improvement. Always quest for perfection. So, I'm always, doesn't matter if I'm losing or if I'm winning, I'm always looking to trade and shake things up. One of the most fun parts of fantasy after draft night is trading.
No doubt about it.
Always fun. Always good to get new blood on the team.
Agreed. And draft night is the greatest. But in baseball, but I would say, in football, the draft might make your whole year. And baseball, the draft is probably less than 50% of your whole season's value. Almost certainly, actually. So there's a lot of managerial and general manager skills you have to put in a full baseball season.
Ben, it sounded like you were pretty frustrated with Brett Anderson earlier today. Were you about to give him the axe?
No, I just was pulling up checking ESPN every few minutes and noticed that he was, I don't know if he was giving up hits or walking, but I kept seeing people on base, and I guess he started off rough, but I guess he finished relatively strong. He didn't have a bad game or anything, but it just, it is. You watch like a pitcher, and he gives up like one run in the first inning, and you're like, oh shit, here it goes, and then he just settles down. So it's just kind of one of those situations, I guess.
So earlier this week you had 3 catchers. I know you mentioned you were going to try to trade one. Are you still planning? My question is, you have Darno on your DL spot. Does that mean that you're going to trade? Right. You're going to trade Vogt?
Well, I don't think I'm going to trade either, since no one will ever trade for a catcher. So
I can think of somebody on this podcast that could really use the trade. Yeah, I guess that's a lot for him. He thinks he's going to get some serious value in return. It's not going to happen.
When have I ever offered Travis whatever to you for a trade?
Not Travis, who's your other catcher. It was a week ago.
Okay, when did I offer him? I said I can throw in Vaughn and you can throw in somebody else. And you said throw in Vaughn for free, and I said heck no. Yeah, I believe that was the extent of that conversation.
I was trying to give you Vaughn. You remember how angry you got? You got super upset about it.
Well, yeah, Vaughn's like a top 30 player. You want me to just throw him in there for free? I don't think so, bro.
Sorry. You guys, Taney's gonna want big time about it.
Vaughn's sweet. I'm a big Vaughn fan. He's awesome. He's been better than obviously anybody.
You keep those 2 catchers on roster, man. Have fun with that. Enjoy. Yeah, I can understand why Jordan has made the trade, because I think we all know Ben's gonna have to cut one eventually. So I'm not be there.
I'm not above putting Vaughn in as outfielder utility.
Jose Iglesias left one ball. Yeah, because whenever you get the chance to follow the strategy of a Joey Formicola, you have to do it.
Yeah, I think Vaughn's a little bit better than Pudge Rodriguez though. So.
Oh no, Pudge is pretty sweet.
Oh man. All right, so number 1 team in the power rankings, I've got Michael there. So Ben's actually ahead of him in the actual standings. Michael is second in the standings, number 1 in the power rankings for me right now. Michael, what was different about this week for him is that his pitching has had probably his best week of the season, I would imagine, and it really has helped boost his team, I think, when he got Chris Archer.
It's a single. This could be huge for Steele. Sorry, if I get this Steele, that'd be gigantic. A Steele run. No one gives a shit. You lost. I haven't lost yet. Oh my gosh.
All right.
Look, Michael had a very similar week to Ben. Same thing. The only thing that was different was he didn't get wins like Ben did. He only has 1 catcher, doesn't he?
Michael's he's definitely improved his staff, but I still worry about it a little bit because outside of Archer and Scherzer, there's really I guess some Archer. There's just really not a whole lot there. I don't feel like.
Yeah, I agree. There's definitely about half of those guys have struggled.
Not one of the worst. It's definitely not like a terrible staff. He's definitely made improvements, but I guess my complaint is I can still see room for a little bit of improvement with his pitching. But then again, pretty much every team can say that about their pitching. So, yeah, definitely.
Big play.
Again, surprising that really. Oh, you know what? Weird. He had all. Ryan. Michael's going with the no closer strategy, and he didn't have a single pitcher with 2 starts this week. Huge. That's kind of strange. I was wondering how he only had 66 strikeouts with a team full of starting pitchers, but
yeah, he had like 6 or 7 2-start guys against me last week.
Well, then that's probably why. That's fortunate there. But yeah, they both him and Ben are going with the no closer approach, and as far as their team strengths and weaknesses, I think they're really similar. They're obviously the top 2. And I don't think anyone would bet on anyone other than those 2 to get the bye right now. So,
all right.
All I want to say is I wish I would have played Michael earlier in the season. Although I guess his team was just as good then because I don't know when I played, but I haven't played him yet, and I know it's going to be a brutal matchup.
It's going to be an interesting one for sure.
So Ben, your next. I think there's only 2 weeks before the cycle starts over, and we've played everybody once. So your next 2 matchups are against Drew and Michael, the other 2 teams in the top 3. So I guess some might argue maybe you've had a fortunate schedule so far. But a lot of it really just has to do with the timing of when you're playing somebody, or when does their ace have 2 starts, or so much that goes into that.
I hadn't heard that, but I look at the overall stats more than I do. Some people say strength of schedule, and I'm one of the top teams in a lot of the stats, so I'm not concerned with that.
That is interesting, though, because that means that Ben and Michael are only going to play each other once, so the whole playoff tiebreaker is going to be on the line that 1 week.
I'll take it. We only play each other once?
Looks that way, yeah. So
I'll take that all day, baby.
It benefits both of you as far as the standings, but man, it makes that matchup so crucial because
I'm definitely going to need a win that week because I think Drew's probably going to beat me this week, so I'll be on looking for a rebound.
Whoa. What was that all about? You think Drew's going to beat you this week? You haven't even started the matchup yet.
Drew always plays his best against me.
All right, interesting.
You did take me down that one time in the compilation bracket.
I've got 1 word for you. Derek Mason. I guess that's 2 words.
That's right. Yeah. No, I started out having the number. I don't think that's really true though. It's the last 4 or 5 years.
No, yeah, it's not. In baseball, I think I probably actually may have a winning record against you in baseball, but I think Drew's going to beat me next week though. Bottom line.
Well, I think you're trying to trick me, but okay.
No, I just don't see myself contending with you.
Last
thing. Go ahead.
Oh, I was just going to say I don't know what to do with that.
I look at this. I could lose. You could win 6-4 next week. Michael could blow me out 8-1. 8-1, yeah, because I guess we'll both tie saves. Although that'll be interesting because, like you guys say, if there's one of us going to try to pick up a closer, although I guess all the closers are all taken right now.
I will give you one of my closers for a week if you bench 2 starting pitchers next week. No, I don't know.
I believe that violates constitutional rules.
You're done.
There's a comment right there. We got him recorded. I'm glad that we did.
Last thing, Ben, I guess I wanted to get your thoughts on the TV bracket so far.
TV bracket? Ryan, why are you doing this?
What do you mean?
What are you talking about? I don't know what half those shows are.
Yeah, but I thought you might have something to say about, let's say, By the Bell or something.
Yeah, I don't know. I'd rather hear Jordan and Drew's opinion about that, honestly, and your opinion.
Oh, shit, I don't know half those shows.
Actually, let's put Drew in the spot. He hasn't voted. I'd rather hear Drew give his opinion on the TV tournament.
Well, let me click on the tournament. Like seriously, never watched an episode of the X-Files.
I think 9 people have voted, right?
I don't watch South Park, Sons of Anarchy. Don't watch Castle Supernatural.
Watched one episode of How I Met Your Mother because sometimes when you're over at the Odell house, that's the only thing that can be on. Man, I have Twin Peaks. That's a real show. I mean,
you thinking of the restaurant?
yeah.
That place sucks, by the way.
I mean, seriously, if you
it's literally probably the worst food I've ever had.
The beer is good, though. I mean, they've got their own brand, and it's cool to perfection.
Yeah, but you got to be really bad to screw up beer.
How does it compare to Hooters, though, as far as food?
Hooters is slightly better, but that's not saying anything because Hooters food is bad too.
And what about the girls, which is better?
I like the outfits better, Twin Peaks, but the Little Rock location, they're not. I mean, they're not repping the best of the best.
I can see if I can find the picture, but there was a bikini a week one time, or it was bikini day or something, and I came in with a Speedo on, and I said, "Hey, isn't it bikini week?" And they thought it was hilarious. They served me food.
Let's just say that I'd be fine never going to Twin Peaks ever again.
He went in there. How do you own a Speedo?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's probably the bigger question.
I've got a picture of it. Yeah.
Now,
Don't bother sending it out.
Was it a Speedo or was this actual Mantis?
It was a Speedo. I mean, it was. It had the American flag on it on the butt.
Now, did you stuff a sock in the Speedo or?
No, man. I went. Full. What do you guys call me, Centimeter Peter or whatever? I mean, it was. Poking out.
Poking at you.
It's like the girls loved it, but I didn't really think about it because everybody there is guys. And I sat down at the bar, and the guy who was like really laughing when I came in, he felt really awkward when I sat next to him.
Did you put your arm around him?
No, I thought about just trying to really relish the moment. I mean, I said it in that text. Pants are the enemy of one Jordan Hot. So, yep, didn't really have much to say. That's personal, Drew. Like that hurt my feelings. Like how could pants aren't a person? Well, that's okay. Maybe are you going there? Maybe you can bust me going to Twin Peaks by myself sometime. That was 5 years ago.
All right. Well, I guess we don't have anything else to go over unless you guys have anything else.
Okay.
I just want to say
it was the first girl from Mad Men that was sending that text message because wow. And I think that if I could redo my vote just based on that, I might do it.
So that picture swayed your vote successfully. You just already voted. Is that what you're saying?
I don't know. I wouldn't say that because I still have to give original facts here. To tell.
It sounded like Nick was more upset with the fact that his own brothers sounded like he felt betrayed by his own flesh and blood that they both voted for Saved by the Bell.
He's definitely betrayed. I mean, but that's the Shin, for you, and the Reynolds for that matter. There's no loyalty here. Oh, we weren't even allowed to watch Saved by the Bell when we were kids. Interesting.
Drew, I will say, you're a slacker when Seth Weddle is voting in the tournament and you're not.
Yeah, he really didn't understand the concept of casting a vote, did he? He
seemed to be confused.
That was a little bit difficult and poorly timed after he was making fun of you about not knowing, some, sayings and lingo and text message.
No, I thought these podcasts are progressively getting worse as the weeks go by.
I think that you contributed to that for sure. Yeah, the first 25 minutes were a little rough.
You don't like the soundboards?
The problem is that I couldn't really understand what most of them were saying.
Wait, you really couldn't understand what all of them were saying?
I could for a few of them, but not all of them.
It was a little
disheartening. That's disappointing.
Yeah. Yeah, but back to Seth, I haven't seen anyone struggle with doing some sort of action in the league since Andy had to put somebody on the DL. I mean, that was difficult to watch today from Seth.
All right, guys. I think we're dying out here.
All right, Iglesias is on third, and I'll leave you guys with that. And Derek Norris. What?
I think Drew's phone must have just died, but I think he was about to say Derek Norris just scored a run.
Oh, I sure hope not. Oh, son of a...
I think he's about to say his Derek Norris jersey just came in.
Yeah, Derek Norris scored a run. That means that I'm down 2 runs. So hopefully he can steal home.
Oh, good luck to you, Jordan.
You know you can custom make bobbleheads.
Yeah, there's actually a Shark Tank for that.
That's awesome. Like you can send somebody a picture and they'll make a bobblehead out of it. You can send some company. Actually, I think they have several companies to do that.
Yeah, there are.
Well, that's a great idea. Or fat heads too. You can customize fat heads too.
Bobblehead's cooler.
I feel like we should start giving the winner of the league a custom made bobblehead or something.
Yeah, we need something. I mean, we got to have a trophy for the loser and a trophy for the winner. I mean, that's got to have
a trophy for the loser.
Yeah, something that you have to keep at your house as a memoir that you sucked. I mean, the Sacco, dude. Have you not watched the league?
The league?
The league.
I haven't watched it.
Is this thing still recording?
Yes, it is.
Absolutely.
I can't believe people listen to these.
No, we all do every single time. I would have said there's thumbs up and thumbs down on the on YouTube because
it's almost always like an hour and a half long. I guess this one looks like it's going to be a little shorter, but just crazy.
All right, well I'm gonna hit the stop button, guys.
Can we hold on a second? Can we say something like really bad about Drew since he was on the podcast and he's not here right now? I mean, we should use this opportunity.
Okay, go for it.
All right. Silo nipple, crooked dick. Let's see. I don't know, Ben. Do you want to give any information on any personal information about Drew that he might be offended about?
I mean, I'm just gonna.
What is this story? What is this story I heard about him watching a U.S. men's basketball game?
I'm just gonna leave it alone for right now. I don't want to start the pod up right now.
This is your perfect opportunity.
Have you guys ever heard about that? Yeah. Well, I just asked Drew about it.
No, I'm asking you right here, right now.
Why don't we cut out the middleman? Oh, that was funny.
Here's Ben.
Ryan, I think you gotta hit that square button right now, Ryan.
All right, I'm doing it.